Hi, my name is Julie. When a customer requested I do straight line quilting on this quilt for her, I said sure, because I know that making a straight line on a quilt is easy peasy. However, for the past 5 years, I have not done a continuous straight line quilting on a large quilt. So I started thinking about my options of how to go about it. There are many options for you to make a straight line on a quilt, but making continuous lines over and over on a quilt with the same distance apart, that caused me to stop and think, well, how do I want to do this? The way I decided to approach it was to make a pantograph design within ProStitcher Designer. Today, I want to explain to you why I chose that option and show you just how I did it. First, I decided to load the quilt horizontally. If I had loaded the quilt vertically and made lines going up and down, that would have meant that I could only make my lines as long as my throat space. And that would have meant I had a lot of starts and stops, and I didn't want that on a quilt. By loading it horizontally, that meant I could make each line continuous from start to stop, and I would still get my vertical look in the end. These are some of the ways I typically quilt a straight line. I'll use a ruler with a Surefoot, or I'll go under ProStitcher and use record and mark my line, or most of the time I will use channel locks on horizontal. Another way to make a straight line is to use the move function and select the arrow in the direction that you want the stitching to go. At first, I really thought the easiest choice would be the channel lock, but my concern was my own human error. I thought I could use a special foot to help me guide with my distance between lines, but I was really worried that when I got to the end of one line and I started another one, that they might not all be the exact same distance apart. So that's why I decided I would go into Designer and make my own little design of lines. This is how I set up my design. I went to Create a New Design in Designer. I like to have my grids on, and the big squares are 1 inch and the little squares are 1/4 inch. I went to Tools, Line, and I use this grid. So I could make a very little short line, and then go over to my right side and put in how long I wanted this to be. Once I have this selected, over here I get this transform, and I can go into the size. The width is going to be 107 because I have my quilt is 107 inches. So I just made a short line, then I went in and I changed it here. That gave me my long line. Okay, I've got that selected, and I'm just going to copy it and paste. And then what I did next then was go in and select both of these and copy then and paste that, and keep doing that until then I had, like 10 or 12 of so I kept doing this until I had, I think it was about 10 lines, and had them all positioned just like I wanted. And then I just selected them all and converted them. So just get them all selected here, and I right click and and I convert to running stitches, and then I saved, and I did a save as, and I made sure that I had my C2S, but then also that I did an HQV, so that then would give me my design, and I had my design to then bring into ProStitcher. So let's just send this on over to ProStitcher. I'm going to go to Home, and I'm going to send that over. Now, could you have done this in ProStitcher? Sure. I just wanted to show you how I did it in Designer, and then I brought it in as a design, and I could, you know, stitch one, then it would do a long jump, pause, go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. Of course, you can make a line in ProStitcher, and then you can, you know, judge the gap, you can do the repeats, and you can, you know, work with the gap, and you could do it that way as well. But this is how I did it, and just to make sure that I had 10 lines on my quilt, and I just went from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and then I repositioned and did it all over again. And I didn't have to worry each time about making sure that everything was the exact distance apart each time, because it already was by the time I brought it in. Please subscribe to my channel. I need more viewers so I can stream online. I really appreciate it, and thanks for watching.